us your tips. Midweek preview time. The Beaver is here or thereabouts. Daggy's with you as well as we get stuck into a couple of average midweek cards. What's happening, buddy?
Oh, mate, more normal stuff. Working away here, mates, and sort of gets a bit into the different time of the season. So off a bit of a high with Spring Carnival, and now a little bit of a lull, but still winners out there for the boys to find.
Yeah, and we're getting a good period of time where through summer you can get some of these horses, especially ones resuming, could put two or three together, and tracks tend to be dry, so we get to play, I guess, a bit more of a straight bat and hopefully knock a few over as we head towards Christmas.
That's the plan, mate. Put some money in the bank for people to buy their Christmas presents. That's the plan.
And as you know, I'm a straight bat specialist, so what can go wrong?
No, yeah. If only.
Shall we get started? We'll kick off at Sandown.
Let's get into it.
Very quickly, is there anything about the weekend? Newcastle's all right. Caulfield, I've seen plenty of arguments whether it was biased or not, but I thought it wasn't particularly easy to run down some of those leaders.
Yes, well, by all the reports from jockeys, if you read they said it was pretty much impossible to make a lot of ground. So they were pretty definite that there was a bit of bias there. So you probably got to run a little bit with that. So it probably did make it hard for some horses.
I guess it means, Magic Time's win was very impressive, really. Mickey did everything
good
right,
horse.
but I'd sort of early crowed on IME, so got me again.
Yes, it was probably one of the runs that where it did come down the middle of the track and did make some nice ground. So, it was probably just a better horse than those, and made it look like there wasn't as much bias as what there may have been.
Yeah.
And all the more impressive.
Exactly. So I don't know what it all means now, because I suppose we're all going for a spell as we head to Cranbourne and wherever it is this week, Kembla for Saturday, but we'll worry about that on Friday. We'll kick off at Sandown. We're back to the Lakeside track today, good and true, and not the most exciting card, mainly 64s, but I think there's some winners to be had. We're going to kick off with the 1,400 metre maiden, and which one's going to be for the first of these winners?
Yeah, I think the blue colours here, favourites from the Freedman stable, Elba, gets its chance today. Both runs have been pretty good against, I think, not too bad a company. Hit the line strongly last start, I thought, and out now to the 1,400. I think this sits up well, gate 3, and pretty keen we can get off on the right foot in the first.
I agree. I think the 1,400 metres looks perfect, and don't have much more to add when the main danger comes through the same race, and it was, comprehensively the better run, I thought. So a nice way to start with the blue. The second is a Class 1 over 1,200 metres, and I think this just set up perfectly for Who Dares. It's running some proper races all through its career and been in a finish with the likes of Airman and some top horses. I think just back to a midweek Class 1, I've had to go with it, and it probably leads. So lots of ticks here. I went looking for Sisterhood, which is a horse we've, I think, both had an opinion of last prep, but I don't know where the guts are to its form. They're now having to step up to this grade. I just thought Who Dares bought the class edge. Admittedly, it's still a Class 1, so it's only won one of those races, but it's run well enough. I think it's a play for me here, but what are you thinking?
Well, I did tip it last start, but I'm super keen on Sisterhood. I think this is a real progressive horse. It's only had the 3 starts and was sent out after those 3 starts here. I just think last start was pretty good. It's been in the market all of those races, and Mar Eustace know how to get these horses going. I'm keen to play on Sisterhood.
Cool. The third is a 14. She might be one of the ones that can string a few together over summer. If she is as good as we think, she might come and put a few together because she's got some room to move in her grades. The third is a benchmark 64, and I'll stick with the filly here. I thought that was a nice win from Electrona at Bendigo last start. Had to absorb some pressure and still ran away and broke her maiden. Gets control here and goes on top from Flying Fizz, who I thought wasn't a bad debut, had everything go right, but looks impressive. Trialled since, so I'm going to make them the main 2, but Electrona, again, another one that can continue to go through her grades. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm keen on this one too. I'm keen on these first three. I think they can really get us off to a flying start for the day. Um, all of them have good form, going well, and I do like the McAvoy stable when they produce horses like this. They tend to continue on the form.
Yeah, and he does a good job with all these youngsters. The fourth is a 2100 metre benchmark 70, one of the worst races I've done the form in recent memory, but do you know who's going to win it?
Yeah, same. I had the similar view here. I had no idea these races tend to get mixed around here. So I was really struggling to find a winner. I settled on the McAvoy Unusual Pearl. Had some good, decent runs last campaign, and then sort of seems to be working into it this campaign. Was behind Tidal Force, which was going really well, and hit the line okay at Flemington last start. I thought that wasn't a bad run there. So I think it might be fully fit now and might be the knockout chance at reasonable odds.
I thought Speak was building well enough in Australia before it went to Flemington, but at least it's coming back from a Group 3, so I've put it on top where it was pulled out of that race, but now it's had that run, dropping right back to what's essentially a 64 or a 58. Maybe can put its best foot forward here, but not a great deal of enthusiasm. The fifth is a benchmark 64 over the mile, and I've lost Unfair Dismissal, which is annoying me. So I'll leave. I don't like this race at all, Beaver. I've lost both my tips. Can you talk about this for a sec while I reassess?
Yeah. I think the second favourite around the $455 mark, Lot of Rock, is on top of here. It beat Ocean Raider last start, who won yesterday in good fashion. The last race. I think it's going well enough to probably run a really good race here. That was a good win yesterday by Ocean Raider, and Lot of Rock backs up here. This isn't an overly tough race, and if it can reproduce that, you're going to get a good sight for your money.
And the fact it goes forward is now the tick, because I was looking for the leaders here. I want to see this favourite do something before I really have anything to do with it ever again, to be honest. So I'll follow you in there. I just thought it came real short and was looking for the two leaders. Yeah.
Do that, mate.
Excellent. The 6 is a 1400 metre 64. And who have you found here?
Yeah, probably worse than the other race that we had earlier. I just went for a bit of value here. I thought this was an open race. Some of the ones in the market were probably a little bit short. I've gone for number 5 out, August Rose, third up here, gets the 3 kilo claim. First up was behind Skybird, albeit a long way. It's a good horse. And then set on the speed last start and boxed on okay. It does that again here, might be good enough to hold on, and close to the $10 mark each way all day.
I'm going to put Jennifer Wish on top now. No luck last time out. Gets the inside gate. Hopefully Declan Bates can be more positive. She's going well, is now third up. And I gave some authority to Chico Sonato. I've half got the thought that might be a complete nutbag, but its best has looked very good, but then its other runs in trials has looked very bad. So we'll see which one of it turns up today. I think it's a half or a 3/4 to Very Elegant. But for the sake of what I'm tipping here, Jennifer Wish on top. The 7th, I'll see if I can add something worthwhile now, is a benchmark 64 1300 metres, and I'm going to have an each-way play at Frenchmans Bay, who was a nice enough resumption. Didn't get the clearest air off the rails and ran well there, and around the $8.50 mark, I'm going to put it on top. I kept going back to Charming Die, and her best work is on a dry track. She might push further forward. So I might cover both of those around the $8 mark rather than get steam at anything else, because I just feel like there's a couple of chinks in a couple of the ones that are shorter. But what do you think?
Yeah, I thought the same. This is an open race. Went for a little bit of looking for value, which it mainly is in this race. So I've gone for number 11, Love Tonight, from the Freedman stable, third up here. Won a nice maiden first up, then went to town at the Valley and wasn't disgraced. Only 2 lengths behind along the river. That's better company than this. third up, fully fit. Gate 3 can run a bold race.
The last is a 1200 metre 70, and who do you like?
Yeah, keen that we can get finish on a positive note here. Number 7, Mornington Glory, going outstanding this preparation. Won well 2 starts back, and then ran second behind Ray Maginero last start, which I thought was a pretty good run, to be honest, at Flemington. Set off the pace, kept boxing on in that benchmark 80, comes back here to the benchmark 70, gets gate 2, perfect draw. The other main contenders drawn gate 13, so I think that sets up nicely here and a good way to finish the day.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it looked pretty obvious to me. Coming back from the run on was it Derby Day? Derby Day.
Yeah.
No, Champions Day. Behind a horse that's flying as well, and I still think we're getting a decent price. So on top,
$4. I was surprised.
Agree. I think it's flying, and just ran into a horse that's also flying last time out. If you're looking for a quaddy, the 2 other numbers I'd throw would be Bluestone Lane, was never a factor first up, being spat at the back of the valley, and Grand Crusader, who resumed pretty well. I think it's just been forgotten by the market. I would have had it shorter, and I think around $13. If you're looking for something to get out under price, would be my next best. Have you got a best in value at Lakeside, where it sounds like you're much keener than me?
I'm keen on in the first few races, that's for sure, and then finish the day. I think the middle part of the program, 4 to 7's much harder. My best bet comes up in race 2, number 6 Sisterhood. I didn't have almost didn't really have a value bet, but I thought as my value, because I think it is over the odds, is race 8, number 7, Mornington Glory. I think $4 is overs. I think it should be $3. So that's going to be my value bet.
Awesome. I think Hudez has to run well, but might run into another one. They'll make my best though in the first race 1, number 8 Elba, and my value race 7, number 3 Frenchmans Bay. I do think you might be able to play a trifecta with Bluestone Lane and Grand Crusader if you're looking for other double-figure chances on the card. Let's head up north to Sydney, where we're off to Warwick Farm on what will be a warm day in Sydney town. Rails true, good track, so we want to see him making ground before I really steam into any swoopers late. But we kick off with 1,000 metre 68, and I'm going to kick off with the top weight in the first, Le Parrain, who sat outside lead in a Brian Crowley, and was actually pretty good there. Just gassed out late from the run. Back to 1,000 metres, is going to lead and loses the other leader, Good Lieutenant. So all looks like a pretty good setup to me. To be on top from Storm the Rampant, who is talented and did go away and have the kill. Now back to town. Is there much else to talk about here?
No, I don't think there is a lot to talk about here. I'm on the same as you. I think Le Parrain is the clear on topper. Money's come for it, and I expect it to run well in this company.
The second is a benchmark 68 over the mile. We've lost, we're down to 4 runners now. What's left here? Heads you lose. Who wins?
Yeah, can't go past heads you lose from the McDonald-Waller combination. Won the Super Maiden first up. You'd expect it to improve a little bit on that over the 1,500. Gets out to 1,600 here and looks to have the class edge on these. Probably, again, overs. I think this might start $1.75, not $2.
The only possible danger is if they let Nash just absolutely walk for a mile, for 1,000 metres up front, but I think it's the best horse now and a win. The third is a 2,400 metre benchmark 72, and I've had to come back to Father's Day because I couldn't come back to much else. Ren, well, obviously bolted in when it had the big break here. 2 back, went to town and beat all but Spaycast, who's a nice horse. Comes back here, leads, and where are you going to find a chaser from? The danger, if there is one I came up with, was Lady Redwood, who goes from Olivia Chambers having a day out there for Pony Club and now gets Gate 2 and Adam Hieronymus. I think will be a big improver. But, Father's Day looks pretty obvious to me. Only really betting that it stays up.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, that's an awful race. I wasn't keen on anything. I wouldn't be taking $2.30. I think that's a bit too skinny. I've gone for First Light just because of the McDonald-Waller combination. Waller he just does pop up in these 20, 2,400 metre shithouse races. One of his horses are fit enough. It was only 2 lengths behind Rise to It, who's flying, and Peshmerga, who's going well as in the last couple, so not far off them. Doesn't win often, but this might be the setup that allows it to win. So I just went for the one that's a little bit better odds.
Race 4, 1,400 metre maiden. Who do you like?
Didn't really like this race much at all again. It was pretty tricky. Some of these, the form lines here is quite hard to line up. I've gone for number 6, Joey Dior from the Baker stable. Ultra consistent of late. Again, ran well in a super maiden at Gosford, only just beaten. Lightly raced, can run well in this.
I've just decided going to follow Ricola, who followed Until Valhalla a couple of weeks back. Pushes forward, will run well enough. Duke of Lancaster, I think, can be a big improver. Slow out there in a reasonable maiden. If it jumps on terms, 1,400 metres looks like it'll suit for J-Mac and Waller, who I might be keener to see him have his Hong Kong trip sooner rather than later, J-Mac, and have a freshen up from some of these races. But the 5th is a 1,200 metre 64, and Afterlight's going to lead. Is that the way you're thinking?
Yeah, I am going to stick with Afterlife here. I think now should be at its peak. Again, gets back into easier grade here. Probably takes up the running. Is carrying the big weight, but goes back to Warwick Farm, which it's ran well. It's walked in here 3 starts back, and then wasn't all that bad behind Fire Lane here. A few starts back, gets to control of the pace here. Was off the pace last start, which didn't suit as much. So again, in a pretty average race, probably have to stick with it.
Yeah, apparently the rider said didn't like the Norton bit on the Saturday failure there, but they haven't made a gear change, so I assume Chris Waller will get it right, and they've done some work with it. If it leads, probably wins. If I was looking for dangers, it's the 2 fresh horses here, Lady Carr and Shriffen, both lightly raced, run well enough out wide, and both have trialled quite well, so might be blowout chances, but we'll see how the day's panning out. The sole bet might just be Afterlight here, the more I think about this. The 6 is 1,100 metre benchmark 64, and I've come up with the Metropolitan form here in One Destiny. I think it's going pretty well. It resumed and sat outside lead to Gustissimo and just got burnt off there, which is fair enough. That horse is better than midweek grade. Went and had the kill at Wyong, now comes back here and gets control of this race. Around a $6, I thought was a reasonable play. The 2 lightly raced horses obviously are scary. Accredited probably trialled slightly better than 2 and is the main danger, but I guess both of those are more than capable midweek chances here. How have you seen this one?
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting race here, this one. I went the same way. I just went for One Destiny off the back of that winner being third up here via the fresh form. Got the right draw as well. So I've kind of stuck with it as well. But I think the main danger, I think, is Merrimack Boy. Quite hard to line. It's been gelded and had some good form in Melbourne and at Morphettville before coming here. So just trying to make sense of what its trial form was like. But I'll certainly probably be backing one and saving on the other. I'll just watch the market a bit.
Cool. Let's wrap up with a 1,400 metre 64. And I'm sticking with Gay first up here, head of the herd. Its trial was good enough against a stablemate, and the maiden it did win. I think 4 or 5 winners have come out of that maiden, and one comes back to town. And I've got on top, and going to say that the main danger is the one that's going to sit outside it at a price. No More Lies. I think they can control this race and run well here. I was very keen on Power of the Brave Melbourne Cup Day. It should have won that race. I just have a map concern, which is why I'm against it in this one. The other horse I actually went looking for, but I assume this is a warm-up, was Utopian Wine, who has had the spell up in Queensland, but the trial wasn't fantastic. What do you think?
Yes. I've stuck with Head of the Herd as well. Trialled well before only having the one start, and sent out for a break, so something didn't go right there. It was on a slow track. Resumed here, was very short in the market, and I seem to win with something in hand. I think it'll have derived plenty from that. Gets the right setup here, as you said, and gets 5 kilos off the favourite. So I think it's a good play.
Beautiful. For progretracing.com.au, check them out for everything going on there over the summer. I'm going to make my best. I'm going to make the most bomb-proof favourite race 3, number 4, Father's Day, because I think there's just some question marks over most of them in the card, actually. And my value race 6, number 3, Flying Destiny. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to make my best race 1, number 1, Le Parrain. I think he'll be winning. And I'm going to get the same value as yourself, race 6, number 3, One Destiny. I think it can run well.
Anything up at Doomben?
Of course.
Cool.
There's a couple up at Brute in Doomben. Race 2, number 7, Bezique. Short but will win. So you can have that, double it up into race 3, number 1, Love Will Come Later. I think you'll be getting the money there. And then if you look for a bit more value later in the day, race 6, number 9, Fleur du Monde.
Awesome. Race 5, where is it? Race 4, number 10, Light Zell, is a former black booker current black booker of mine. So we'll see how it goes today as well. That's it for the show. We'll be back Friday afternoon to look at Cranbourne and Kembla, and there'll be an article up tomorrow from the Beaver, and I'll get stuck into Friday night, Canterbury and the Valley again. So check all that out at Pro Group Racing, and we'll chat soon, guys. Good punting.